welcome to the platform. My name remains Oluwaloseyifunmi Dasilva, and we have a big fish in the house today in person of Honorable Bolaji Abdullahi. Honorable sir, welcome to the platform, sir.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Recently, you made a declaration to contest for the Senate seat of your constituency. What made you conclude?
Well, thank you very much. You are right. I mean, recently I declared my intention to contest for the Senate seat of the Kwara Central Senatorial District, comprising of Ilorin West, Ilorin South, Ilorin East, and ASA local governments. My decision to contest for the senatorial position is because I believe very strongly that the National Assembly is the heart of democracy and democratic practice. And I believe that it can play a major role in influencing policy decision and the direction that the country can go. A background to that was that initially, if you recall, my decision was to contest for the governorship of Kwara State. But because of the issue of zoning, I had to find an alternative, to participate in the next general election. So I believe that, like many people have noted, I believe that I can make very important contributions at the National Assembly, because I believe that the National Assembly remains the bastion of democracy, and I believe that no matter how strong a president is, if he doesn't have a strong and virile and visionary legislature to drive his agenda in a way that deepens our democracy, it's not going to go far.
All right. There's this insinuation, let me say a rumor, that you are being fielded for the former Senate President. That perhaps by the time he fails in his ambition to the presidential seat, he will come back to you. What's your take on this?
Well, I mean, there's no basis for such insinuation. I think whoever is saying that is just being ridiculous and malicious, to say the least. His Excellency the Senate President, with due respect, was member of the Senate for 8 years, and he rose to become the President of the Senate. So what he wants and what he deserves and what he believes that the role that he fits in now is the role of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, having been number 3 citizen. So I think whoever is making that kind of insinuation probably, with due apology, is not showing sufficient respect for the Senate President. So for me, I will just easily dismiss it. There's no such thing. The most important thing for us is to win the next elections in the state. We suffered a heavy defeat in 2019, and we want to do all that is necessary to ensure that we win all available positions in the coming election, right from the governorship, the Senate positions, the House of Representatives, and the Houses of Assembly. So there is no such thing. Whoever is thinking of that should better perish it and begin to prepare for the election.
All right. I don't want to ask how prepared are you for the Senate office, or the Senate seat, but I believe you have your blueprints of what you want to achieve as a senator. Can we share part of this?
Well, thank you very much. You see, the question that I will think you are asking me, of course, is why am I doing this? Why do I want to be a senator? For me, that question also roughly translates to why am I in politics? I recall that since I made my declaration, some people have said, oh, but you have been offered this Senate position in the past and you say you didn't want it. You you felt you are bigger than the Senate position, you only wanted to be governor, Nothing can be farther from the truth. I never considered the Senate to be a climb down from the governorship position. People leave the governorship position and go on to be senators, so I don't think it's a climb down. At the same time, I don't think it's a climb down for anybody to leave the Senate position and go and be governor. There are two different roles. For me, my politics has a single agenda. At best, we can translate it to two related agendas. You recall that in 2007, here in Kwara State, I was appointed by Dr. Saraki to be his Commissioner for Education. And I played that role for 4 years. Regardless of what we may think we have accomplished during that period, I think more important than those progress we made in those years are the lessons that I learned about what is possible and what executives can do with power, Since then, I always believe that there is this unfinished business, especially in the area of education and youth development. For me, I believe that I don't want to anchor my politics on any other thing apart from the desire to help children. To help children, whether in terms of their education or in terms of their general development, to help younger people to fulfill their aspiration. Because of this, I felt that I want to be in an executive position where this becomes the daily purpose of my politics. I want to wake up every day solving problems in these areas, helping children to get better education, helping children to develop generally into healthier and more productive citizens, and this is why I've been doing this for all the years that I've tried to be governor. Now, the reality of politics, your passion is not enough, love is not enough in politics. There are other realities that you have to balance, So when the reality of zoning caught up with me in this instance, I told myself I have two options. One option is to roll over and say, well, that is done, and I'm done with politics. And I'm telling you that that's actually a very, very tempting proposition to say, look, I've done this, I don't want to be part of this anymore, because politics can be really, really exhausting, both in material terms and even in emotional terms. But I keep reminding myself why I'm doing this. Quitting now does not help any child to get education. Quitting does not help a child to get better health care, and quitting does not help a young person who is just growing into maturity in life, to help his or her path, into a career development. So, what is the alternative left for me? And that alternative path was clearly that of the Senate. So I believe that in the National Assembly, yes, it's not going to be like a day-to-day executive responsibility that I would have liked to take on the issue of education and healthcare. But I also believe that without a viral and robust National Assembly, democracy cannot grow in Nigeria. I also believe that that's an important platform of representation. Sometimes government or federal government is far too removed from the people at the level of our own constituencies. So we need a strong voice, a practiced voice, a tested voice that can pursue or promote their agenda for development, their vision of progress, at the center, and that's what I feel I can do. Now, again, another side to look at it is that the National Assembly over the years have acquired a reputation that when people want to point at things that are wrong with our politics, they tend to point at the National Assembly as an example of those things that are wrong with our politics. I sometimes think this is exaggerated because I believe in the National Assembly there are very good people, very, very good people, both in the Senate and the House of Representatives. So I want to be part of those good people. I want to join them, and I believe that we should be able to form a critical mass that actually determine the direction that the National Assembly will go in supporting progressive ideas and policies that will grow our country. So for me, this is why I want to go to the National Assembly. I believe I have the pedigree, I have the experience, and I have the skill, the technical skill, to add values not only to the National Assembly, but to bring the aspirations and the concerns of my constituency in Kwara Central to the forefront of the national agenda.
What do you consider as one of the national leaders in Nigeria as a problem or problems that we have in Nigeria?
Well, if you want to enumerate, you probably spend the better part of this week trying to list what those problems are. But I think I'm a lover of Chinua Achebe's thesis that the problem with Nigeria is fair and square that of leadership. I believe we are able to get leadership right. A lot of things will straighten up. Look at the historical basis for this. Any country in the world you look at that has made progress the last 10, 20 years. They have made progress because they had that leader, not because that leader is extraordinary, but because he has the capacity to grow leadership. So the focus is more on leadership rather than on the individual leader. The strong man that is a genius or that is a superhero or something like that. But someone who has the vision, the wisdom, and the political ability to rally people to believe in a national agenda, on a vision of national development. I think that's one thing we have not been able to do over the years. It is your ability as a leader to build a consensus around yourself on those issues that truly matter to the country that will make people to forget their own personal, not necessarily forget, but not prioritize their personal benefits, and promote it ahead of the national agenda. If you ask across this country today what is the most important thing, that we should deal with, you probably have as many answers as you have people in this country. But as one central idea, how do we build Nigeria to work for majority of Nigerians, right? So it's only one person that is on top that can articulate this and translate it into a general idea for people around him to help to achieve. Look through history. All leaders, whether good leaders or evil leaders, if there is any such thing as evil leaders, you can take it from even Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Chairman Mao, Stalin, even Adolf Hitler, and all such variants, Nelson Mandela, you can pick all these leaders across history. But there's one thing they all have in common. One thing that they all have in common. What is it? Is the ability to translate one central idea into a belief for many to pursue and to drive. Right? So that is one thing that is missing in our country. Someone that can unify Nigeria, not around himself, not even around the country, but around the idea of development for this country. Someone that can make Nigerians to believe in Nigeria and want to do what is best for Nigeria. You see, we say this every day, but we don't seem to pay attention to what we say. Right from primary school, what do we say? We said, we even touch our heart. We say, I pledge to Nigeria, my country. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, and to defend her unity, uphold our honor and glory. Right? We now say, so help me God. Right? This if you take time to reflect on this, you can see that it goes beyond just mere platitudes. It's a very, very solemn oath. And may God bless whoever designed that. We said, I pledge. You touch your heart. Or you hold the Quran or the Bible. Say, I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, to be loyal, to be honest. I mean, look at how much of what we do every single day in our daily life shows that we are loyal to our country, shows that we are faithful to this country, shows that we are honest to this country, and they are willing to serve this country with all our best. How much of it? We commit treason with our mouths on a daily basis. in the name of freedom of speech, right? We say all kind of things that violates the oath that we solemnly swear to, whether in official or in personal capacity. So what I'm saying in essence is that if you, the lack of fidelity about the idea of Nigeria, right? The lack of faithfulness to the idea of Nigeria is a major problem for Nigeria, right? And until we have that leadership, right? Until we have that leadership that is able to articulate the vision of Nigeria, that is able to answer the question, what is in this for me? What is in this Nigeria for me? What does this Nigeria mean to me, right? Then we will probably not make the kind of progress that we should make.
All right, sir. Being patriotic sounds like a term. Do you think an average Nigerian, whether the leader or the led, do you think we are patriotic enough? I say this on the background that between Russia and Ukraine of recent or the ongoing war, I see how Ukrainians are coming back home to defend their country. Do you think an average Nigerian can come back from a safe place into a danger zone to defend?
You see, I believe so. You see, the Ukrainians that are returning to the country to defend Ukraine, they were not going into that country. That's my view now. I don't think they are going back to that country to develop that, to protect that piece of land, that piece of real estate called Ukraine, that geography called Ukraine. That's not what they are defending. They are defending an idea of freedom, right? An idea of self-determination, an idea of having the right to live as a peaceful, independent country, right? That is able to determine its own future by itself. That's an idea that everybody, every human all over the world can relate with, right? Nigerians can be very nationalistic. When you see Nigerians, if you see two Nigerians talking about the why do we abuse our leaders so much if we don't care about Nigeria, right? The fact that we abuse our leaders and we condemn them for doing bad things, right, for not living up to our expectation, means that we love our country. If Nigeria doesn't mean anything to us, it won't matter what anybody does, right? And I don't want to use the normal example of, Super Eagles, even though I was a minister of sports, and I've seen people want to shed tears when the Nigerian national anthem is being sung before we play a football game, in a way they don't do in other contexts, right? But I'm saying that what the Ukrainians are fighting for is the idea of freedom, the idea of liberty, right? Every Nigerian is capable of that feeling, of that awareness. And like I said, I keep referencing Chinua Achebe. He said, our people are not what they are. Our people are what they are because our leaders fail to be what they should be, right? I still believe that it's about leadership. Nigerians are capable of recognizing people who want to serve them willingly and who are able to serve them honestly. And I can give you from my own example. I've enjoyed more respect from ordinary Nigerians since I left office as Minister of Sport than I even enjoyed as Minister. Whether I'm at the airport or I'm even outside this country, I've met people on the streets of London who recognize me as a former Nigerian minister and give me all the courtesy, and say all kind of things. So Nigerians are capable of recognizing people who serve them honestly and genuinely, and they care. Nigerians care. Forget all we say about we want to japa, we want to go to Canada. A Nigerian cares about Nigeria. That's what I believe very strongly. We just need to fix leadership.
Okay, so what is your vision about Nigeria? Do you think Nigeria can be great as we anticipate?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind that this country is going to be great. Look, it is very easy for us to exaggerate our place in history, right? We look at ourselves. I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 70. Oh, Nigeria, I've never known a Nigerian that worked in my lifetime. This country will never make it. We see those kind of superlative statements. But 60 years in the life of a country is nothing, right? 60 years in the life of a nation is nothing. It's a lot in the life of an individual, but it is nothing in the life of a nation. The second stanza of our National Assembly, of our national anthem, what do we say? We say to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. To build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. The infinity of that phrase, to build a nation, means that for the next 200 years, for the next 1,000 years, as long as there is a Nigeria, Nigerian children will continue to say to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. It means that the business of nation building will never come to an end. We will play our part in this generation, will go, you know. And that's why, like the French psychiatrist, what's his name now, said, he said every generation, we used to quote him a lot when we were in the student union in those days, is every generation out of relative obscurity must discover its mission, betray it or fulfill it, right? So we, this generation of Nigerians, what is our mission? To start the business of nation building. We're not going to finish it. It has started before us. It is continuing. It's frustrating. It's not moving at the pace that we all saying that we have the right kind of leadership. Nigeria is going to make progress. Not that Nigeria will never make it. There are very brilliant people in this country. There are very committed people in this country, right? The nature of our politics may be holding them back, but it can't hold them back forever. The space is opening up in a way that we never imagined like 20, 30 years ago, right? So I have no doubt in my mind this country is going to make it, you know.
All right, let's go back in retrospect. You are Minister for Sports.
Yes.
How do you compare the situation when you were minister to what we have on ground now? If you have to critique.
No, I don't think it would be a fair thing to ask me to do, because the gentleman who is there now is my friend, and if I have anything to say to him on how to make his work better, I'll probably say it to him, not say it in the public domain, you know. But I believe the contexts are probably different, you know. I don't think sports ranks very highly in the agenda of the current federal government. I don't think so. I don't have a feeling that sports rank very highly in the policy agenda of the current administration. I'm fortunate because the president that I served, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, you know, put a lot of premium on sports and sports development. I remember after the London Olympics in 2012, he convened a national sports summit, you know, and he sat there for over 10 hours. Can you imagine the president of Nigeria with all the challenges that he could just simply say, look, I don't have time for this. He sat at that national sports summit for over 10 hours because he's aware of how important sport is to a country like Nigeria. Not only in terms of the medals that we win, the honor and the glory we bring to Nigeria. You know, when we won the Africa Cup of Nations in 2013, it gave Nigeria more PR benefit than and all other things we will have achieved in that period. When we followed that up with the Under-17 World Cup in Abu Dhabi, the Nigerian ambassador to UAE told me that they have got more people making inquiries about Nigeria during that time that we won the Under-17 World Cup than at any other time since he was ambassador to that country. So that's the kind of soft power, you know, that sports can bring. And President Jonathan, I think, recognized that. Secondly, when you have majority of your population as youth, I mean, it's just common sense that one of the major occupation of young people is sports. So why not you develop it? And when we launched Rhythm and Play, a program that was meant to bring 2 million young people into sports over a 2-year period, President Jonathan was there. You know, he was there. You know, so I think he prioritized the idea of sports development, and he gave us all the support that we needed. You know, I don't think the current minister is getting that kind of support. I don't think so. I'm not excusing anything, but I'm just saying that the political context is different. And in government, political context is very important, you know.
All right. In politics, who would you say is your mentor?
Of course.
In this country?
Of course. I mean, if you ask me in terms of mentorship, I mean, I've grown my politics under an individual who is Dr. Abubakar Saraki. I've grown my politics under him. Without him, I'll probably not have even been in public service. When I came back to the country in 2002, after my master's degree as a Chevening scholar in the United Kingdom, I came back to Nigeria. I returned to this day, and I was practicing journalism. You know, it was in the course of, although I was already deputy editor of This Day, I was already a known columnist, you know. I was writing on the back page of This Day on Fridays. I was a member of the editorial board. You know, so I was happy with what I was doing. I was getting to the very peak of my professional career, you know, so to say. But it coincides with the time that he was going into governorship election, that he won the election, you know, and invited me to come and work with him. And I've watched over the years how he has evolved, and I've learned a lot from him, you know, in terms of incredible dedication to work. I mean, that's probably one thing that most people don't know about him. They see his politics and they talk about his politics, but if you have worked with him before, you know that there are few people in this country that has the kind of incredible capacity for work that he has, and ability to be singularly focused on an agenda. So for me, that is one thing that I've learned: ability to focus on the need to focus on an assignment and get it done no matter what. You know, that to learn that no excuse can be good enough. Once you have an assignment, you have to do it no matter what. And I try to pass it on to people who work with me as well. You can't find anybody working with me who will be giving you excuses. They know that the work must be done. They know I don't care whether the rain is falling or it's raining fire or brimstone. And that's one thing that I learned, you know, that no excuse can be good enough. You know, so in that respect, that's one person that I think I learned that side of my work from. And I cannot say I've been a very good student of his politics. I mean, I'm still learning that. I'm a slow learner. I'm a slow learner in that respect, of learning politics, you know, because he seems to have mastered that art, you know. So, you know, there are other people I admire all through history, you know, that I can't be mentioning. But if you ask me personally, who have learned from, you know, I've learned from him.
All right. Of recent, we hear of youths involved in all manner of vices. What's your advice for them?
You see, it's not so much about advising youth. Youth they're tired of people advising them. You understand? I have my own children. You don't want to be advised. You know, they need to be engaged, right? Young people want to be engaged, right? Every young person you see has an aspiration, has an idea of what he or she wants to be, has a vision of his own or her own future, of the kind of development he wants to see in their own life. The question is whether we are providing the right context or the right environment to help that youth to attain that vision. Many of them will fall by the wayside because of failure of parenting, because of failure of guidance or mentorship. You know, they fall by the wayside. And that is why you see, for me, like I told you, my commitment is child and youth development. You know, I wanted to do this as governor, but when I didn't get in again in 2019, I launched the youth mentorship program. You know, and a 6 months program that identify young people from across the country and give them mentorship in an organized format over a 6 months period, you know. And I'm glad with the kind of feedback that we are getting about this, those who have benefited from this program, you know, because I believe that mentorship is what young people need more than anything else. When they were at the age that they are reaching maturity or reaching adulthood, they are coming up with more questions than answers. They are asking themselves a lot of questions. Why is this like this? Why should I be like this? Why shouldn't I be like this? That's the point that they need someone to hold their hands and tell them that it is possible, that you can do it, and this is how to do it, right? It's when that doesn't happen that you see young people seek refuge in all kinds of influences, you know, whether it's drug or it's ritual murder or fraud or Yahoo or gangsterism and all kind of things, or sexual promiscuity and all sort of. So I think rather than talking about advising young people, it's about how do we engage young people? How do we develop our capacity to engage young people and give them the answers to the questions that they are asking, you know?
All right, sir. Do you think there is a possible end to crisis between labor unions or like ASUU and the government?
Yes.
Can there ever be an end to such?
Yeah, of course. Of course, there can be an end to it. But both parties have to be honest. Have to be honest. At this moment, I don't think there is honesty on both sides. I think government is not being open about what government is able to do. Government is more focused on ASUU calling off strikes rather than finding a sustainable solution to, that's my reading, I may be wrong, to this problem. ASUU, I think, has been driven by historical ego, and they appear to be fixated on this strike as a solution to the problem. I mean, they are some of the most brilliant minds in this country, and I believe that they can come up with a solution to this problem if given the opportunity. The students are suffering. You cannot go into university now and start a 4-year course and be sure that you finish in 4 years. And this has gone on for too many years that Nigeria can afford. Everybody is losing. The government is losing. The lecturers are losing. The students are, more importantly, the students are losing. I think it's about time we solve this problem. This problem can be solved. I have no doubt in my mind this problem can be solved. But like I said, the two parties have to be honest. Government have to fulfill its historical obligation to ASUU and then draw a line to say, okay, this is where we draw the line, and begin to think differently about higher education. What are those things? What are those responsibilities that government is undertaking about higher education that is putting government in this kind of situation? You clear the backlog of issues, whatever outstanding issues, then you open a new chapter to say, okay, we have to follow a different course now, going from here, so that you don't continue to come back to the same problem.
Okay, your party is in a semi-crisis situation. How will this PDP here?
Crisis?
Yes.
Okay,
leadership tussle between the various stakeholders from the South and
crisis? Are you sure you're not talking about the other party? No. We don't have crisis.
Okay. So what is the prospect that PDP will come back to power come 2020?
Just look at APC now. Just look at APC. We are not even sure that by 2023 there will be a political party called APC. I mean, look at what is going on now. Somebody said there is already caretaker, he has become permanent from caretaker, then he doesn't want to go, then somebody else is brought to come and take over from him, and next day that person cannot take over. They say, you can see, but it's not really a total surprise to some of us, right? I agree with you, there are some issues that we also have to overcome as opposition party. But if we are able to overcome those issues, I'm sure that Nigerians have realized that PDP in whatever state is better for them. We are the only political party that has the longest history of being in government. Not only that, is probably in PDP that you have the kind of reach, to every single ward and nooks and cranny of Nigeria, regardless of where, So I think, and in PDP, you also don't have one dominant tendency, So it's easy for people to reach some kind of conversation that will be mutually beneficial to everybody, So I think maybe because we are out of power, also, that makes it a little bit easier, But I believe very strongly that Nigerians have realized that PDP is still a better deal for them than this other party. I mean, because the least you expect as a party is to at least be able to hold a convention, right? To be able to organize yourself and have officials. But if you have been running caretaker for almost how many years and you are not even able to, that doesn't look like it's about to end. On the eve of an election, don't forget everything we are talking about. Nothing is happening next year. Everything that's going to determine 2023 is going to be this year, not next year, right? Nothing is happening next year. Next year is just to go and vote, right? So if you are still dealing with all these existential challenges now, it will probably require a miracle, for you to be able to be in a battle-ready situation, you know, for the next election.
All right. Thank you for talking to us on the platform. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. My pleasure always. Thank you.